I first want to thank y'all for taking this time out today to come and participate in this thing we call Before the Casket. And before I get started, I really want y'all to pray for these families who decided to come and relive and talk about the moment in time where they lost that person that was so dear to them. And I'm soliciting y'all's prayers while they attempt to come and talk about that in front of us. So without further ado, let me bring one of my OK boys up to start us out. Come on, Evan.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Evan McElway, and I will be your speaker. Your MC for today. On behalf of the OK program, I would like to thank you all for coming to this Before the Casket, and here are the events as follows. We will first have the opening prayer by Keith James, then we have the welcome by Anthony Morris, opening remarks by Sergeant Willie Davis, and the introduction of presenters by Sergeant Willie Davis. And then we will have the family testimonies, the eulogy appeal for peace, the song by Reverend Benny Johnson, closing prayer by Reverend Benny Johnson, and then our presenters will be Sergeant Willie Davis, Detective Terry McDaniel, Jerome Hobbs, and Alicia Davis. Now I will bring up Keith James for our opening prayer.
Bow your heads for a word of prayer, please. Eternal God, our Father, how excellent is thy name above all the earth, God. God, before we ask you for anything, we want to thank you for everything. Thank you for waking us up this morning and starting us on our way. Thank you for giving us a reasonable portion of health and strength and enclosing us in our right mind. God, we appreciate everything that you've done for us, God, and done through us, God. God, if it had not been for you, God, where would we be? God, on this special occasion today, God, we come before you, God, with bowed heads and humble hearts, God. As the families represented here, God, relive the tragedy, God, that occurred in their lives. God, we ask, God, that you would be with those families, God, because there's pains, God, that is yet to be healed, God. God, there's wounds, God, that are still fresh. But God, we do know, God, that you're the only one that can fix, God, whatever's wrong. God, we know, God, that beyond a shadow of a doubt, if there's a hurt, you can heal it. So right now, God, we come before you, God, and we ask that, God, your spirit would set down in this place. Do it for your glory today, God. God, I ask for special blessings, God, upon this place, God, and on this community, God, as we band together to remedy this issue of violence in our community. God, and we don't have to wait till the battle is over. We can go ahead and shout about it right now. So God, we thank you. We praise you, we lift you up, we magnify you, and we adore you, God. In Jesus' name, every heart say amen.
We will now have our welcome by OK program student Anthony Morris.
Good morning. My name is Anthony Morris, junior at Central High School, and I welcome you to our 7th annual Before the Casket presentation presented by the OK program. I hope y'all really take something out of this today.
We will now have our opening remarks by Sergeant Willie Davis.
I want to make a few acknowledgments before I get started here. I want to recognize the OK program mentors. Don't do nothing yet, brothers. But these ladies here from the GM's program, teach how you girls to stand up. OK, the GM's girls, y'all give it up for these young ladies. This is a program that a lot of people don't really know about, but it's getting there. And it's under my supervision, and it's led by Officer Takesha Pfeiffer. I give it up for Takesha Pfeiffer. You know, we talk about, you know, black males, but our girls need some help too. Yeah, they need some help and some direction too. So, but I can tell you in the OK program, we're getting these young men ready for them. They'll be fine. Also, I see my good friend Russ. Russ, stand up, brother, man. I'm glad to have you here visiting with us, man. Judge Leverett, stand up, brother. Appreciate you, man, coming out and hanging with us. So I think I see some educators here, some of our schools. I see my cousin. I see our National OK Program Executive Director, Mr. Miller. Stand up, Brian. Yeah. Is that my daughter? Oh, man. Stand up, girl. Wow, I didn't know she was in town. Stand up, girl. Make me cry up here. And some of my church members, I really appreciate y'all coming out. You know, obviously, you know, moments like this, you would think the church would be full. You know, I don't think this is not news enough. I don't know. I don't know how many of us have to lose our lives to get some kind of attention around here, but we still gonna keep this thing going. We're gonna make it do what it do, and we're gonna keep these families uplifted, and we're gonna be the gadflies that change this violence in our city. And I'm gonna need your help in doing that, man. I'm really gonna need your help in doing that. People see me as the face of this program, and I can tell you that that's not intentional. There's a cadre of black men that shows up each and every Saturday to help me make these boys' lives better, different, teaching these young brothers how to be young men. And I got to tell you, we're not raising boys, we're making men on Saturdays. I got to tell you that we love doing it. But for now, I want my OK program mentors to stand, brothers, and I want them to see who y'all are, brothers. Y'all stand for me, please. There's no way that Officer Turner and I could do what we do each Saturday with these brothers if it weren't for these young guys, these brothers here that's coming out, bringing their hearts with them and loving these boys and understanding these boys and showing them the direction to go. I got to tell you that our goal is to point these young brothers in the direction of trade school or college as opposed to graveyard and jail, y'all. That's what we're trying to do here. Thank y'all, guys. Okay, boys, stand. This is why we do what we do. Y'all can clap a little louder than that. Y'all can clap a little louder than that. Now, I got to tell you why you just got through clapping. You were clapping for our future doctors. You're clapping for our future lawyers, our future educators, our future responsible dads, our future loving husbands. This is what we are preparing these young men for. I got to tell you, we got to do it now and talk about it because we can't do it when they're there. We got to tell these guys we're not going to accept no junk from you. We're going to love on you. We're going to cultivate you. We're not going to take no mess. So we love hard on them, but we take some out of them sometime too. But we can do that. We've invested in these young guys. And we love them to death. They know we do. So once again, y'all give it up for these guys. You know, we have, particularly as it relates to the OK program and police officers running this program, they have to be a minority. And we have over 170-some black officers in this department. And it's embarrassing me to sit here and tell y'all I only have 2 that comes out and help me on Saturdays. That's what y'all get for these 2 officers. Kevin Allen and Officer John. Now stand up, brother. I'm glad to be associated with some brothers that understand the value of these boys, and that we ain't trying to shoot them. We believe in loving on them. We know the first objective is not to arrest them. We're going to talk to them and encourage their hearts, so I appreciate you guys for having that kind of heart. My sidekick, the ones that doesn't want to say anything, don't want to be involved, want me to do all the talking, Officer Carl Turner, son of a... Yeah. If you didn't know any better, you thought I was just running this program by myself, because he's like a ghost. But I love this brother. He's been here with me for going on 6 years now, Turner. Going on 6 years. So man, this is hard work. I got to tell you, and it ain't easy, man, to raising those 4 kids. It's hard work, but it's hard work. And that brother know what I mean when I say that. So I appreciate his heart for these boys, man. Robert Hope, my good white brother. Stand up, Robert. Glad to have you here, man. Yeah. Robert's gonna bless your heart today, man. I can't wait to hear him. I like the way he keeps it real. My cousin, Big Ben Johnson. Stand up, boy. I ain't scared of you no more. I got company. I got much love for Benny and his work, man. He's been doing it for years, pretty much sometime by himself. So I love what you're doing, cuz, and keep on doing what you're doing, man. Thank you for always supporting me and keeping me on top. Here we are again. And I've always say this, at this intersection of sadness and madness, trying to figure out what do we do about this level of violence that we continue to see in our families, that we see in our communities. Sometimes it's hard to fathom, because you would think that our boys and girls and men and women are being raised like animals because we're killing each other like that, like there's no love or care for anything in the world. Yes, it's hard to understand it. You know, when you think about animals, you think about bears raise cubs. They didn't raise them. Dogs raise their puppies. Chickens raise chicks. And we have a hard time raising our own, making them accountable. And I don't necessarily fault these young folks for that. I got to tell you, grown folks, we were here first. And there's a responsibility we have to our young people. There's a responsibility we have to our communities, to our churches, to our schools. It's our responsibility. We can talk about this sadness and madness and this violence all day long. And we can leave this very building and do nothing about it. And I can tell you, we're going to be in the same seat this time next year, with the numbers maybe perhaps increase regarding this. But I'm convinced, and I'm no fool, that the same God that changed this little knucklehead back in the day can change the situation we're involved in today. I'm convinced of that. I don't think he stopped changing when he changed with the day. I don't think that he's not that kind of guy. He don't respect me that much, and I understand that. But having said that, I got to tell you that dealing with this level of violence and reducing this violence that we see in our cities is not just for the OK program, not just for Benny Johnson, it's not just for Sergeant Davis to do, just not for these mentors to do, not for Robert Hope to talk about. This is a team sport. We don't need nobody standing on the sideline trying to fix this problem. We need your help. And whatever that means, if that means raising your child, parenting your child, that's important to all of us. And it's necessary if we're going to love each other. So I want to encourage you, the grown folks in the house today, particularly you who are parents. And if you're not a parent, please be a mentor. We got to get back to teaching all young boys and girls respect. Simple, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Respect. And respect has to start with them. And I got this weird feeling that if I respect myself, I'm gonna have a hard time disrespecting somebody else. It's just gonna be a little difficult for me to do. So if we can get our parents and our cousins and them and our aunties and uncles and them to embrace respect, and not only for themselves but for their parents, not only for their parents but for their teachers, not only for their teachers but for authority, and not only for authority but for life. Life. 15 homicides right now in this city. 11 of them look like me. We're not going to talk about who's the perpetrator. We know who the victims are. We know who? They look like us. So we're not going to sit back and wait on someone to tell us how to fix this problem. And I got to tell you, we didn't get into this problem overnight. And we're not going to get out of it overnight.
Right.
But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some efforts. Because people are in pain. People are sick and tired of people playing with guns and knives. And I wish I could tell the guns to stop, and they'll stop. It's not the guns. It's not the pistolas. It's not.
Right.
It's human beings that have extensions on their arms called fingers, and they have something in their mind that called no love for their fellow man, and they can just do this so easily. I'm tired of losing.
Yeah.
People we have in this city, Little Rock has a losing record to homicides. We have a losing record to homicides. I'm so tired of losing. I almost like give a person face because I take it that personal, like he's bothering somebody that's connected to me. And you can sit there and think that, I ain't messed up. Until it knocks on your door. Until it knocks on your door. You get it. You think about it. You understand it. And you hurt from it. And then you wonder why. Why did this happen to me? My child, my loved one. When you think about the fact that a young 2-year-old kid, 3-year-old kid couldn't ride in the car with his grandmother. Just for a ride to the mall. That's all they wanted to do. When a young lady works every day to take her kids to school and she gets shot down like a dog, that ain't right. Something ain't right about that. You think about a brother who will never get a chance to touch his baby girl because she won't even know him either. That's sickening to me, and it makes me angry.
Yes, sir.
And guys, girls, women, men, we have to fix this. There's something we have to do. And I'm not talking about waiting until tomorrow, the next day. We got to do it now. We can talk about all day long the issues, and I'm going to talk about this with the the police. We got some issues too. But there's over 1 million police officers across this country. And for the most part, particularly 95% of the time, we get it right. But there's a crazy 5% of them jokers that shouldn't have a gun or a badge or a uniform. I'm just keeping it real with you. They shouldn't don a uniform when you think about the level of our unarmed black males that have been shot down by the police. Now, some of y'all may not believe this, but this is true that white men are shot more often than black men in law enforcement. They are. But disproportionately, our black boys are. Check this out. Last year, 22% of black males were shot down by police officers. 22%. But here's the tricky part. How is that? And we're just 6% of the U.S. population. Is that not crazy? 6%. But 22% being shot down? That's some fuzzy math. I'm not that good at math, but I know the number's crazy. So what do we do? How do we address this issue? Because a lot of people are angry, including myself. And I think I got the most angry when Orlando Castillo was shot. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm mad about all of them. But that one right there, I was trying to figure out how do you explain that away to some young black boys to say, Sarge. But he wasn't doing nothing. And you know, we hear that from all our boys, man. I wasn't doing nothing, and they hadn't done something. But that brother hadn't done anything. How do you explain that away? But I want to encourage your hearts today because, you know, we good at protesting. I like that. We're good at marching. I don't do too much marching because my feet get tired. I like work. But we got to continue those things. We got to march. We got to legislate, and we got to litigate. But the most important thing we got to do is vote. There are some folks that are not believing what we are believing. There are some folks not convinced that our hearts are heavy because we live in our black boys that are normal rate. They're not convinced. But that's one way we can show them that we're serious about our people. And I got to tell you, I don't have anything against nobody white. I promise I don't. I promise I don't. But this issue that's plaguing our community, I got a problem with. Yes, so if we're going to talk about, and I don't mind, we're going to talk about what we're doing in law enforcement. We need to address that too. But we got to address our people. We got to address our kids. We got to address our communities. We got to address our schools. Those things are broken. When our families are broken, if we have indeed broken parents or parent, you can best believe we have some broken kids. If we have broken kids, probably we're going to have a broken community. If we have broken communities, we're probably going to have some broken neighborhoods. And if we have broken neighborhoods, we have broken schools. And God forbid we have broken teachers who are not teaching our kids. And this is just my truth. I have to say that because I don't want anybody to leave here and say, I didn't say nothing, and you didn't get that, you didn't hear that. I want you to hear it. And what I say to you as a people is intentional, because our black boys and girls are intentionally being shot down. They're being murdered intentionally. And we have to fix this issue. And it's going to start, brothers and sisters, with us loving each other. Unbar your fists, brothers, young brothers, unbar your fists. Respect your parents. Love yourself. And parents, and I always say, like, I gotta get you to stop spending all this money on these tennis shoes. And putting them on feet that ain't going nowhere. I gotta convince you to help me with that. Help me with that. I gotta convince you to stop dressing these young girls up with these fancy hairdos on 10-cent heads. We can't continue to do that. We can't. And if you look in your friend, in your kids' phones and check them every night, you'll see they got plenty of friends. They don't need you to be their friend. They don't need that. But I want to encourage you to be the parent. Yeah. Parents, I want to encourage your heart, particularly you mothers, particularly you single mothers. You all have been holding this thing down for a long time, sisters. I know you have. You all been doing it for so long, it's almost embarrassing to talk about. And I just want you to know that we don't mind standing in the gap for you. You know, we understand that you feel like they get big and you can't do nothing with them, but we'll do something for you. We don't have a problem with that. But I want you to know that we believe in you and what you're doing, and we just want you to loan them to us for a little while. You know, we appreciate those Saturdays y'all let us hang out with them boys for 4 hours, but rest assured, when they come back to you, they're going to recognize and know the difference in the relationship between a belt and a pair of pants. They're going to know that. They're going to know that they love you and they respect you. And we're going to tell them why. Every black man in this room, if you can look in the face of a woman right now, we know that you are the reason why we're here. How dare we respect that? 9 long months, y'all don't care about these jokers. Foot swole, morning sickness, had to lay off your job for a little while, gaining extra weight, can't get that body back like you want to. And they have the audacity to talk back to you, tell you they don't like you. They don't like you how I want to go stay with my daddy. And you trying to figure out where he is. Go on, find him, help me. I'm gonna shut this thing down, but But I had to say that because I won't get a chance to say much today. But I really, in all seriousness, this is what my heart is. I promise it is. And I appreciate my kids. I got to say this before I sit down. My son and my daughter. I don't know, my older daughter, she's not here, is she? Okay, I got it. Stand up, Caitlin. Stand up, Joshua. And these two people. Wait a minute. They have watched me mentor kids for almost 10 years, and they've been unselfish about it. But I remember one time I was doing home visits, and Josh called me on the phone. He said, "Dad, will you do a home visit with me?" But my son and daughter have been really unselfish in this work that I do. I'm telling you, because my daughter, she don't play when it comes to her dad. She wants her time, but they have really been unselfish, and I really appreciate y'all for doing that. Thank you, Josh. Hobbs won't be here, so I'll be speaking on some stuff he gave me to talk about. So, this scenario that I present before you today is what happens the moment that a homicide or violent act occurs in this city. And so the police shows up, and we do what we do in terms of, y'all have seen it, the yellow tape roping things off, and we see, people gathering, and for us as officers, law enforcement officers, we see this. And I don't want to give you the impression that we're hard to this thing, because I know I'm not, and I don't think a lot of them are, but we have a job to do. And it's not always easy when that person shows up, the loved one, with the hand over their mouth and they're yelling and they're screaming. They want to know what's going on with my baby, my son, my daughter. Why are they laying there? What happened? And we have to manage that. And it's not easy. I got to tell you, it's not easy. And so these officers have to maintain their composure, because they understand how you feel. They really do. Now, they may not know the depth of it, because that's not their person, it's your person. I get that. But we still have a responsibility. But what concerns us as officers, particularly me, when I remember when you see that this act occurred on a city street or block or a house, I think about our babies, because that particular area will not be the same to them again. What do I mean? What if that bus stop is right there? What if they walk by that area going to the store or to their friend's home? It would never be the same for them. We get it. We understand it. So I want you to know, when these things happen, when you show up on that scene and you want to see them, irregardless of what we're telling you about what it looks like in there, you want to see your baby. And you take it personal, and you should. I would. I understand it. But we still have to preserve what we call a crime scene. And all I'm doing is just roping it. Now, those guys with those nice jackets that come with them notepads, I don't know what their job is. I just let them do their job. But it's my responsibility as the officer to make sure I secure that. And the reason why we do that is because of a thing called evidence. Whether it's a cigarette butt, whether it's a footprint, whether it's hair, whatever it is, we don't want to taint it. We don't want to do that. So this is what you will get today, how that process works. A lot of folks get misunderstood. You're frustrated. You don't know why we do what we do. So I started this thing 12 years ago because it bothered me. And some of y'all may remember this young guy. His name was Decree Thomas, a 12-year-old black boy that was shot down at 12th and Johnson Street. I know you remember that, Benny. Overnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. But I remember the paper the next day where in the article this lady says, he's always out there. It irritated me. He's always out there. 12-year-old kid, 2 o'clock in the morning, he's always out there? And you didn't say nothing? You didn't call his parents? And that bothered me. So I visited this young brother's grandparents' home to talk about this because it bothered me that much. As I start to explain this OK program thing to the family, the mother says, "You mean to tell me you got a program for black boys and my son is dead?" Wow. Yeah. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't say nothing. And two things that I did, I started going to our in-service trainings and talking to all the officers and saying, "Look, brothers, I need your help. I'll do the work. You just give them my phone number. Just tell them we got a program for these boys. Just tell them. That's all I need you to do. And I'll take it from there." I did that. The next thing I did was started before the casket. Before the casket has a threefold meaning. I remember going on Power 92 back then. I was speaking with Broadway Joe, and on my flyer it says, "Come out and hear testimonies, real testimonies of living homicide victims." He said, "Wait, Sergeant, before we go in there, I got to ask you a question. This is a typo? Like, what do you mean?" He said, how is homicide victims live and can talk?" I said, "I'm glad you asked." I said, "Now, if somebody break in your house and steal your flat screen TV and your video equipment, what have they done? Have you been victimized?" "Yeah." "Thank you. These are bodies. These are real people. If someone take your son or daughter away from you, you're a victim, as far as I'm concerned. And you're going to talk about it." And he got it. Before the casket, a threefold meaning. What was this young brother's or sister's life like before they entered the casket? What was their life like? What do you feel like as a parent standing before that casket looking at your baby? How do you feel about that? And what will we do as living citizens to stop this endless violence before we enter the casket? That's a challenge to all of y'all. That's a challenge to all of y'all. What are you going to do? If you don't have kids, mentor them. Mentor one. Talk to one. And I got to say this before I go to my seat. You cannot tell me that every day out of your life, you hadn't had opportunity to say something to one child. You have it every day. You walk by one, you look at one, you talk about one. Like this. It don't make no sense. He need to pull his pants up. That kind of stuff. That fast circuit, you just want to sit down somewhere, look at it. It don't make no sense. Half naked. That. So when she's walking around half naked, he walking around with his pants below his belt. That's his time. He told me, "I can't manage myself, Sergeant David. I don't know how to keep my pants pulled up. Help me out." This is all I know. I've been convinced my body is everything. No, sister, you can tell it's totally different. Your inside is everything. That's what God is concerned about. Right? Yeah, y'all. We seen some pretty jokers around here. They do something to you though. But God is concerned about the inside. So I want y'all to join me in mentoring, educating, loving on, encouraging kids, boys and girls, regardless of what they look like and how they act. And I gotta tell you, they're not acting. Actors get paid. They being who they are. So I need you to, I don't want to say teach them respect, and I want you to show them what they look like. Because in a lot of our homes, we saying one thing and doing something else. And they sure looking at us. We got to stop that part. So when we get there, that's what happens. So when I get through doing what I'm doing as a police officer, roping the crime scene off, I'm done. Then those guys show up and they want to ask a lot of questions of people, and I got a person that's going to talk to y'all about that, so y'all engage. Detective Terry McDaniel, please. Come on, brother. Now get up for Officer Detective McDaniel.
Good morning. I'm Detective Terry McDaniel. I've been with the Little Rock Police Department for 9 years. I know I look young, I'm sorry. I grew up in Little Rock. Lived a few blocks away from this church. Lived in the 12th Street area. lived in Southwest, lived in John Barrow. So I've lived everywhere you guys have probably possibly lived if you live in Little Rock. I've attended schools where a lot of people said there was no hope, that it was just a process. I've had friends to make the honor roll. I have some to drop out in middle school. Were they really friends? No, I associated myself with them. But I had my own mind, and I did my own thing. I've had people to try to influence me into not doing the right thing. I'll let them do that. They're gonna make their own decision. I'm not gonna follow their footsteps. There was a point in time to where I didn't like the police. I didn't. But then I sat back and thought about it. Why? Police hadn't did anything to me. I was just going off of what somebody else was saying. Didn't make sense. My decision to become a police officer changed my life. I wasn't a bad kid, so I didn't turn from bad to try to do something good. I wanted to help the people in my community. And there was only one way that I could do that I knew of at the time, and that was to fill out that application and become a police officer. Within my 9 years, I've worked in burglary, financial crimes, violent crimes, and now homicide. Prior to me becoming homicide, I worked in violent crimes, where we handle all of the shootings in the city of Little Rock. Thought that would be exciting. Now I can actually impact somebody and help a victim out. But there was a problem. I would go and speak with these victims, these living victims, people that have just been shot or stabbed. And I would ask them, who did this? Majority of the individuals would tell me, I don't know. I don't want to talk to you. What do you mean you don't know? You don't want to talk to me? I'm here helping you. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm waking up out of my bed to come talk to you, and you don't want me to help you? I couldn't get it. I don't get it. Since I've been in homicide, moved over to homicide February 2017. From February to December, I had 9 cases assigned to me. Out of those 9 cases, I was able to make 8 arrests and potentially 9 here in a little bit. Whenever we go to those scenes and people, family members show up, I understand that you want to know who it is. I understand that you want to walk into the crime scene. But at that point in time, you can't. And it's hard because I understand the hurt and the pain that someone is going through. I've never lost anyone to that sort of violence, but I sympathize with those families. I'm not the kind of person to say, she getting on my nerves, he getting on my nerves. Anybody that has talked to me, has been one of my homicide victims' families, they'll tell you. I'll tell them, call me as much as you want. If you got a question, if you got a problem, if you want to know how a process is going, call me. It doesn't do me any good to not answer your phone call. It doesn't. It only makes the situation worse. So while I'm processing that crime scene, you know, people love to gather. People will get on Facebook, people will get on Instagram and stream things live. So what happens at that point? A crowd starts to form. I'm out here doing my job, processing this crime scene, and the crowd forms. Sure enough, I take a break. Whenever I'm done processing that scene, one thing that I do is I go in the middle of that crowd and I start asking people, hey, anybody know anything? Anybody seen anything? Does anybody know this victim? A lot of people won't do that, but you have to in order to get answers. You have to. I pass out my cards left and right. I buy my own cards and pass them out. You know, just to make sure that the people in the community can at least contact me at a later date if they don't want to talk in front of everybody. I understand that. We understand that. One of the another issue is that a lot of people will hold information, and they know that that information is vital. Don't depend on somebody else to tell us. That's your job. Pick up the phone, give me a call. Matter of fact, if you got your phones out, I'm gonna give you my number. Because if it's anything that I can do to help you, I will. I'm not Superman. I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to play my part. When speaking with families, there's a process. You know, I've received several phone calls of family members complaining that the police hadn't came to my house yet. The police hadn't talked to me yet. Just give it a second. Within that time frame that we're waiting, we're trying to make sure we have all the facts together. The last thing I want to do is tell you guys something that is not true. May not tell you everything because I can't. I want to make sure that I have the facts and everything else straight. The young men of the OK program, I want to thank you guys. I was once in your shoes. I was your age. I walked the same streets that you're walking. Probably went to some of the same schools. You guys are role models. You're a role model for him. He's a role model for you. You guys are the future. This is for y'all. Everyone in this audience is here for you guys. In conclusion, families, young men, young women, help us help you. Just help us help you.
Get up him again. Woo. Jerome Hobbs, who's our coroner, I mean, and I gotta tell you about Mr. Hobbs. He's been here every year, and it hurt his heart real bad when he had to call me and tell me he had to back out because he had a conference. He's a minister, and they had a conference. So I don't bother ministers about their business. So he wasn't able to get here, but he sent me some information that I wanted to share with you all and encourage your hearts, because he was adamant about me talking about some things that they do with their job. Because a lot of y'all when you say coroner, you don't want to hear that name because it's not real popular. I know I don't like hearing the name. But he has a job to do. And for those of you who have never heard Brother Hobbs talk, he tells a compelling story of being the coroner and showing up at a scene, arriving at a scene, only to find that the person there is his son. And you imagine that. You the coroner, and you doing your job, and you going through this scene, there's a car wreck and he's into a tree, and you look at this car and you say, call it familiar. And it's his son. And so that was real touching, and he still yet continues to do this work. He talked about the cases. And cases, I'm assuming, are what they do in the coroner's office when they deal with violence or when they deal with death. And he said to me that the cases had increased by 100 over the county. In 2017, there were 5,198 cases. He worked 97 homicides. 56 of those homicides were here in Little Rock last year. And those include the homicides, they call them the ones that are committed by the police officer. They call those homicides also. And he talks about the frustration that he sees in the family's eyes when he's at that scene. And y'all know what I'm talking about, when your loved one is laying there and you want to know, and this frustrates people because I've heard them say it to me, why do they leave my death so long? Why they just, and it's no disrespect to that person, to that body, to that family at all, but it's part of the job. It's part of preserving evidence, if you will, when they're dealing with situations like that. It doesn't look good because that's your baby, that's your son or your daughter laying there covered up. And so, but he's adamant about expressing that to you, that that's what it is. It's part of the maintaining, whatever it is. Like I said earlier, it could be a footprint, it could be a hair fiber, and they don't want to taint it, so they want to make sure if they have to cover their hands up, they want to make sure they take care of all that business before they even move that body. They don't want to destroy anything. And one of the last things he said to me was, we have to encourage our young people. We have to get our young people to embrace life. To embrace life, to understand that life is fleeting. It's not something that it's on a video game and you play with guns and you shoot them and you go back tomorrow and you play the same person again. This is not it. Young people, he says, when you see a young person that look like you laying in a casket because he was involved in a gang or some foolishness, that's real. That's that person telling you in a real solemn way that, man, it don't work. Being in gangs ain't good for you. You might not want to do that. Hang around with guys that got guns and thinking about stealing and robbing people, it don't work for you. He wanted me to share that with the young people. Grown folk, he wanted me to encourage you guys to be in the kids' lives and love on them and encourage them, because the devil is busy. I mean, I picture that joker standing in our community, just high five, just clapping, just glad to see what's going on, and we allowed it to happen. I call it apathy. But we can't continue this way. We can't do it. He provided me and presented me with a body bag years ago. I have it to this day. I keep it. And the year he came down that aisle, right here, he was holding it up, and he had the words YOU written on it. He told me to tell you guys, he's not looking forward to or interested in standing over you guys, stuffing you in one of those bags, because they'll hold you. And a lot of our young folks don't think their caskets come in their size. They do. They make them all sizes. They fit. But we losing y'all way too early. These people y'all are here today way too early. Way too early and senselessly. Now, having said that part about this and that, there's something that we must do. We must do as a people, as a family, that people we care about. We got to get some life insurance, folks. We got to get some insurance. GoFundMe just taking over. Isn't it taking over? And we don't have to do that. We spend money on what? Cigarettes. We spend money on hair, and we can't spend money on life insurance. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it. I mean, but I'm not the one to be telling y'all that. I got somebody here to do that. I mean, Miss Alicia Davis. Now, we were on the radio the other day, and it dawned on me that her last name was Davis. So I was like, ooh, people could think something. but actually went to high school together, and so she's a real smart, intelligent lady who loves what she does. It's not about the money. She really cares about people, but she shared with me that she's sick and tired of not, I don't mean in a rude way, but having to talk to folks about that when it's something so simple and something that's so easy. So Alicia Davis, come up and give me your heart. Y'all give it up for Alicia Davis. Making her
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to thank Sergeant Davis for inviting me here today. We had a meeting, and I stressed to him how important it is for people to have burial insurance. It's something that people are afraid of. They think of death. They think automatically something's going to happen. You don't want to think about that. But people, we look at this every day. Watch the news. Look what's going on in our world today. A lot is going on. People do not want to take the time, or they do not want to pay for it, but it's really not that costly. It's not. It's cheaper than you think, but it's something that we need. It's not a want, it's a need. It's something we all need to have. We pay for car insurance, right? We have a vehicle. You have to pay car insurance. I don't like paying that bill, but if something happened to my car, I want someone to fix it. Right. I don't have the money to pay to get it fixed. Same thing with final expense. It's a burial policy. You're not going to get rich off of it, but it will take care of final expense. It's expensive, 10,000, 7 to 10 or up. Most people get 10. I can get anyone covered even if you have an illness. Like I said, look at what happened with Waffle House. Some people are familiar with that incident. When those teenagers, or they were in their 20s rather, they went in there to eat, fellowship, laugh, enjoy life. Look what happened. You never expect that from someone that age. We have kids dying every day, 5 years old, 8, 10, 12. You're not expecting to lose them, you don't want to. But we need a policy. You need a policy on everyone in your family. Everyone in your family. It's serious. And I can write that policy for you. Anyone can see me after the program. I have cards available. I can set up an appointment, come up with a payment that you can afford. We get everything else. Like Sergeant Davis said, we get the hair, we get the nails, the cigarettes, the Jordans, everything else, but will not pay for a life insurance policy. Right. And I work for several funeral homes, and the first thing they tell me is people come in and say, I need to bury my dad or my mom or my child. As soon as we give them that amount, they look at each other and say, well, I don't have that. And they tell them, but it don't come for free, it costs. People, it does. It don't have to be top of the line, but you need something. So I just stress the importance. You all look at it, get it for your kids, your parents, your grandkids. It's cheap. It's really not that much. So if you can't get in touch with me, get in touch with Sergeant Davis. He knows how to get in touch with me, and I can come and meet you. I do this full time. I care. I'm here to educate our people on this matter. Some people don't know who to call. You get something in the mail, you see something on TV, you don't know those people. So get someone that's referring, that they can refer. Willie and we went to school together, and I come highly recommended through him. So y'all just give me a call for your kids, for yourself. Some people have it at work, but they don't have it for their kids. And if something were to happen, they don't have the money. So I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I just wanted you all to know that there is an option. And I'm that option. I just do final expense. So y'all give me a call. Thank you.
Them news people want to talk to me. I'm sorry. I was talking fast. If y'all see it on the news, I hold it, I was talking fast. You went that fast? Did you get on them pretty good? Okay. All right. I have some officers. We have our National Black Police Association conference here in the city this week, and we have some officers from Canada here. And I want y'all stand up, because I want to make sure I recognize. Yeah, there you go, right there. Thank y'all. She was kind of, man, she's like, man, we should have knew, but all of us should be here. You know, go back and tell them. So we appreciate y'all for joining us. Oh man, here we go. You know, asking families to come and speak, to relive, if you will, the moment in time where they lost that loved one, son, daughter, husband, or wife. It's a challenge. And I've been doing this for 7 years, and it's never easy, it's never the same, and I've cried with families because we're talking about that person that we're going to talk about. And in talking to this brother, you know, about his son and how he felt about his relationship with his son. But he told me something that made my heart glad, because this brother was down, and his heart was hurt because he lost his son in 2018. He lost him here. But he said that he received a granddaughter, and he said, he's sorry, man. He said when I held her, he felt like he got his life back. He said, I felt like I got my son back, you know, all over again, man. And that made my heart glad, because you don't know what to say. And when someone loses somebody, you know, they don't want to hear that God is able. They don't want to hear you get cussed out. He don't make no mistake. He did on this one. And I get it. I get it. Yes, I do. I remember I lost my mom. I was mad. He took my dad at first. He ain't doing nothing. But I was mad. I mean, I can't tell him what to do. He put me in my place. But I want y'all to really pray and be with this brother while he's up here, because he's gonna share with y'all the life of his son, George Howard. Come on, man, his son Devin Howard. He lost him in 2018. Come up here.
Good afternoon. It's a blessing to be in the house of the Lord. It's truly a blessing. On February the 15th, 2018, my son, Devin O'Brien Howard, 23 years old. His mother called me. I just got in from eating dinner. She said, "Have you heard?" I said, "Heard what?" She says, "Devin's been shot." And I just got quiet on the phone. So y'all, excuse me. 20 minutes later, his oldest brother called me. He said, "Pops." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Have you heard?" I said, "Heard what again?" He said, "Devin's been shot and they say he's dead." I dropped the phone. It just seemed like life left me. Had a good son, baby boy. Just had talked with him on that Wednesday. He called, he said, "Pops, my baby," his girlfriend, she was pregnant. He said, "Her nickname is gonna be Princess." He said, "I'm gonna spoil this baby." Said, I'm gonna spoil this baby. It's life taken over so-called friends. Young men, young women, watch your friends. Friends that say you're friends, they're not your friends, they're your enemies. Be careful who you choose as your friends. It's a hurting pill. This is a pill here because my son's case is still open. But I pray every day, every night, that justice be prevailed for my son. This hadn't been easy. But I don't believe the Lord has brought us this far, me and my family. Thank God for my family too, the Hunters and the Howard family, to leave us. I say to the young people on today, listen to your mothers and fathers. Be obedient to your mothers and fathers. My son, he's not even here to even see his daughter. 23 years old. He's gone. But when I think about the goodness of Jesus and all that he's done for me, my soul says, hallelujah, in this house on today. It's hard, let me tell y'all, it's very hard. But I ask strength every day. I pray every day, God, give me strength. Give me strength, oh God. And God will give you strength to endure through these situations. I thank you. Amen.
When all the Hunter and Howard, y'all stand, man. I know y'all. Y'all stand up, please. Y'all want to, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all see Kat stand up back there. She want to make sure she a Hunter. She a Hunter. I want to recognize my good friend Ron Watson. Glad to have you, brother. Had to, man. I got you. This run a good program called Had to graduate, had to mentor, had to be right. Yeah, that's Ron Watson. Appreciate you, man. Heart going out to you, brother. Heart going out to you and that little baby girl. Maybe you want to keep her lifted up in prayer. Wow. You know, I mentioned earlier, you know, how I remember this young kid, 216. A lot of y'all, how many of y'all familiar with Victory Over Violence? The Victory Over Violence marches here in the city. And you know, I applaud Channel 4 and Fox 16 for initiating that. But I got to tell you, it disturbed me that we had to wait till these babies were murdered in this city to get excited about what's going on in our city in terms of violence. That bothered me. No one could tell me who Tommy Jones was that year, 16. Tony Jones was the first homicide of 2016. I won't forget his name because he was the first. And we got to, 40-something homicides? Wow. That's unacceptable. And in life, it's worth marching for, whether it's one or two. But this one right here, it got all of our attention because we, in our minds, babies are not supposed to be treated like that. Not only our babies should not be treated like that, but the grandmother shouldn't have to endure that kind of pain and agony of losing your grandchild. And I'm saying child, but in speaking to Kim, Ms. Macon, she presented him to me like he was a little man, you know, so I'm listening to her talking. So I was like, she's talking about this man kid, you know, because that's what he was to her. And so I want y'all to put your hearts and hands together and welcome Ms. Kim Macon to talk about her young son.
First, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. December the 17th of 2016, I thought would be the ending of my life. And I never thought I would be standing here today to even, before anyone, to tell this story. Who would think leaving your home, going to JCPenney to meet your son, to buy Christmas clothing for your other grandbaby, that an idiot would blow his horn and you in return blow yours, get out and shoot. And I'm thinking he's shooting in the air, not one time knowing that he shot my grandbaby. The little grandbaby you see back in the back was screaming and hollering, and I had no idea why he was crying. And I'm saying, Elijah, be quiet, baby. Poppy is back there asleep. Get to JCPenney's, and this is the day the weather has changed, like maybe 50 degrees. It's pouring down raining. And I said, I'm gonna get Asen out the car first. Walk to the back of the car, look at the trunk, and there's a bullet hole in the back of the trunk. And I stand still and tears began to roll, and I said, God, please let my baby be okay. When I opened the door, he turned his head slightly and looked at me, and it was like he was saying, Poppy, you know it's over. I really don't remember much from that other than me just screaming and hollering and asking God, why and how can you do this to me? And I was angry for a very, very, very long time with God. This lady here is my prayer partner and has been my prayer partner since I was 13 years of age. And she prayed and she tried to get me to understand so many things. But how can you understand something like that when I see him, somebody take him out of the car and he goes into convulsions as they're trying to do CPR, and I watch him stop and I watch his eyes close on me. I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand how somebody could be so cruel. I couldn't understand why it was happening to me. Me, I'm not that bad of a person. Why?
Right.
A month to the day, my husband goes into the hospital and has to have a 5 bypass open heart surgery. What is it? May 23rd, he has a stroke. Isaiah is born. This is the baby's mom. She has a baby that she's pregnant at the time. And she comes in from work on July 29th to check on her baby. And she says, Kim, Isaiah's not breathing. He's got blood coming out of his nose. I began to perform CPR and chest compressions. And I said, God, we can't go through this again. Again, we lose another baby. August the 6th, I get a call, and they tell me my brother has been killed in Chicago and placed on the red line track, so that whomever killed him, the evidence is gone because they've electrocuted him. And I really don't understand now. God, I can't take it anymore. Why me? And it registered. I'm preparing you. I'm preparing you for something that you may have not been able to handle had I not put you through what you're going through right now. I didn't understand it then, but by and by I understand it more. But I'm here to say to the children, watch who you keep your company with.
Right.
Be careful who they say are your friends. There were 2 other people in the car with the gentleman that shot my grandbaby. A friend wouldn't allow you to be caught up in a situation like that. Drugs were involved. Drugs are not your friend. And I've not always been who I am today. But God is a changer. Be careful who you hang with. Be a leader, not a follower. When I saw the little memo that Willie had, and it said casket before the grave, it caught my attention. That means a lot to me. Casket before the grave. Because there's so much that can be taught before you get there. Last year this time, there's no way in the world I could stand here and talk without being brought completely down. And I still have my days. But I thank God for his strength. In 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, it tells us he'll never put more on us than we can bear. And I have to stand strong on that and know that he's gonna be my strength, he's gonna be my provider, and he's gonna keep me moving forward. I thank you all.
I'll get it from Ms. Kim one more time, please. Man, this next young lady, I remember reading about this particular tragic incident in the newspaper. And like we do, I read it every day, and it was just an article that bothered me. I never thought I would make contact or get a chance to speak with the loved ones of this young lady that I read about. I was on Facebook this particular night, and I had the opportunity to see a video presentation, and it was Tommy Norman, a good friend of mine from North Little Rock, and these two ladies. And so as I tuned in to what they were talking about, I saw the shirts had one race on the shirts, but I listed what they had to say, and I found out that they were victims of a homicide of the young lady I had read about, April Harris. And in meeting with these loved ones, and I remember when I first met with them, and I was speaking with Amber, her sister, but there was another person sitting next to Amber who I thought was another sister, but it was the mother, and so we got that squared away. But they poured their hearts out to me about their sister and daughter, and you know, the bond that you see a mother has with her daughters. It was amazing to me because you don't always see it like that, and no one would know that unless they were telling you that. No one would know that this woman took care of her babies. No one will ever know that Tammy told her daughter they were getting ready to go somewhere, and she told her daughter, "Don't you be late now." She meant just for that moment. She meant, don't be late because we got to get to where we got to go. She didn't mean forever. She didn't think that late would be too late. Late, forever late. That's the whole significance and meaning of these testimonies, because no one knows what these individuals feel like during those moments in time. No one knows. All we know is that somebody was shot. Their pictures in the obituary, and they're buried. That's it for us. But for them, no. Every day. A song, a joke, the kids. is a reminder that my daughter and my sister, I'll never touch, play with. We would never go to the beach and have fun ever again. And so, y'all put your hearts and hands together and welcome Amber and Miss Tammy Fleming.
It's still fresh, so y'all just bear with us. April was she was a daughter. She was a daughter first. She was a mother and she was a sister. And we were getting ready to go out of town that day because my grandmother passed 2 years ago to the day. And we knew that my mom would be having a hard time, so my mom and I and April were very close, and we tried to stay together during that time so that my mom's mind wouldn't be focused on, you know, this is the time I lost my mother, who wanted to be with her. And we were getting ready to go to Memphis, and we said that we would meet at my house at 7 o'clock in the morning. And April had stopped by my mom's house the day before, and they joked around. And April and I didn't normally stay on the phone very long, but the night before we talked for an hour, and we talked about everything. And I got a chance to tell her how proud I was of her and how she had came so far in her life. She was just 30, and she had 4 children. And she lived for her children. She didn't have friends, she had family. So we talked for an hour, and I was at work. I said, okay, girl, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the morning. And my mom texted her that morning, and she was walking out of her house. She stayed on the 3rd floor. She had came down the stairs, and she was holding her child. And somebody just jumped out the bushes, and they shot her. It was not a drive-by. It was not, I don't know why. They shot her daughter first, and then they shot her. They shot her in front of her children. So me and my mom were together. We were already at my house, and I got a phone call. She got a phone call, and they said, hurry, you need to get to UAMS because April been shot. And she said, she said she got shot, and I'm in the background, and I'm like, who got shot? We don't know, you know, we jumped, we panicked, and she said, April been shot, we gotta go. So we hurry up, we panic, and I don't know how we got to the hospital. But we rushed there, we stand around for about 20 minutes, and we like, what's going on? We called my brothers, we called the children's father, you know, what's going on, you know? And they pull you into a little room, and that's what they don't tell you. When they bring you to the hospital, they bring you into this room, and my mom said, it's bad, it's bad. Anytime they pull you into the room and it's bad, and I dropped down to my knees and I prayed, and I said, Jesus, please, please do not take her from me, please. And at that moment, doctors and police officers walked in and they said, she's dead. And it was so cold, and I understand that they had to say it like that. But it said she's dead, and the room just started spinning, and it felt so unreal. And my mom was like, not my baby. And I tried to get to her, but I was stuck. And it felt so unreal. It doesn't feel real. You know, and that's what they don't tell you. And then they said, and her daughter got shot, and we didn't know that she had been shot at that time. So we were like, what? You know, her baby got shot, and April has a 5-year-old daughter, and she is so small and so precious, and she can walk. But that just goes to show you how April cared about her children. She was carrying her daughter in her arm because it was snowing. She didn't want her baby to be cold, and she always carried her. That was her baby. And so we're like, is the baby okay? We did not even have time to grieve April at that moment because we had to rush to Children's and be with her children. So what people don't understand is we didn't just lose April. It has been blow after blow after blow to know that she was taken so viciously. You know, if it had been and I tell people, if it had been a car accident, I would have understood Jesus. If it had been an accident, if it had been anything, I would have understood. But to know that she was taken so viciously, to know that she was taken in front of her children, to know that her children had to witness that. And I'm like, I'm losing my mind. So I can only imagine how her children feel. I'm losing my mind. And children are resilient, so of course they bounce back and you know they can, but what they fail to realize is now you have to go on in life missing out on an unconditional love that those are shoes no one can feel. Right. No one. And she was a good mother. She was a really good mother. And it's a cycle. Our father died when we were about the same age as April's children. He was gunned down, he was robbed. And how did that affect all of us? My mom has 4 children. How did that affect her 4 children? It affected us in its own way. And it's a cycle that you didn't ask to be born into. Her children didn't ask for that, they're good children. They played chess. They are good children. They participate in extracurricular activities. So does not matter where you are. If God decides to call you home, he calls you home. And what hurts the most is no matter how hard you pray, no matter what you do, you can go to church every Sunday, you can drop on your knees, you can pray. No matter how hard you pray, he is not going to give that person back to you. And that's what hurts the most. I begged. I said, God, please take me. I don't have any children. My mom begged when we saw her body, please take me. That's so hard to, you don't know if you're gonna have an open casket or a closed casket. That's what we have to deal with. And then you have these 4 children looking up to you and they don't know why this is happening and you can't explain why it's happening. It's hard. I wouldn't wish this pain on whoever did this to my sister. That's how unbearable it is. It's hard. It's hard. And April was a good person. You know, sometimes when people die, they say, oh, I knew him and I knew her. Nobody really knew April like that. She stayed to herself. She worked a full-time job. She took care of her 4 children. Now we have to uproot these children and place them with their fathers or with us. They lived with their mother. Their mother took care of them. So to know that she was taken like violently, and it's senseless. It's senseless. Because whoever did that, they didn't hurt April, they hurt us, they killed us. We don't know what life is, and if it wasn't for her children, I don't know where we would be right now. I don't know. And so when I spoke with Willie Davis, and he was telling us about the threefold meeting to before the casket. It's what do you plan to do after she's gone? And so that's why we started the One Race Foundation, because we want to touch somebody. If we can just stop one family from having to endure what we're enduring, it would all be worth it in the end, because I don't want this to happen to anybody else, anybody.
And I want to say, we would see this on the news all the time. Oh, their family, I can't imagine what they're going through. We never thought that would be us. We never thought we would be their family. And so I want to say to you young men that the effect that it has on the family, long after the person is gone. I mean, we don't know who did this to our April, and we're still dealing with that. But think about the consequences. Think about, you didn't just kill that person. Think about what you do to the family. Think about the kids that are left behind. I never thought I would be raising grandkids. You know, I've raised my kids. So think about that. Think about who you associate yourself with. Right. Think about the things that you do every day and how it affects other people. Because it didn't just kill April. It affected all of us for years to come, 20 years from now. They'll miss birthdays, Christmas. Think about that. Think about the things that you do every day and how you affect other people. And how you can make a difference. Think about that. Thank you.
Can I get it for him one more time, man? You know, I've been really contemplating, and I'm serious about this. Well, I want to continue to do this. You know, it's, you know, I started doing it with hopes of, you know, they mentioned, Mr. Howard mentioned that his son's death is unsolved, and obviously theirs is unsolved. And I always hope that they would maybe see this on television and somebody would be moved by it, and maybe something would happen. And that's why it's hard for me to stop it, because I'm hoping that somebody's heart would be heavy and say, man, we know who took April's life. We know who shot Devin. You know, it's, but when you think about, it took $40,000, $50,000 for them to come clean about Ramira Reed's death, this little baby. And that should have been free information. So when you think about it like that, so I'm really praying to God what I want to, because this is tolling on the families and me preparing to do this thing. But you know, I want to do something to shed the light on what's going on in our community, and if this is the platform for him want me to keep on doing it, I will. But I got to pray hard about it, because this is some tough stuff. It really is. This is not a show, and I know when I first started doing it, I would get phone calls and they would say, "Man, could you bring this to Pine Bluff? Man, could you come to our church? Man, this is not a traveling show. This is people's lives. This is stuff that these are not actors. This is real stuff. This is real stuff, and I appreciate y'all for appealing to these young people. This is real stuff, man. I appreciate that. That's one of the main goals too, is to make these guys understand and know that your life can be gone, brothers. It is, and so value that. I want to thank Pastor Green in his absence for allowing us to occupy his church. Yeah. And he told me that Robert Holt could come up here and show out as much as he want to show out. And so I want to welcome my brother Robert up here to the podium, man, and do his thing.
You know, the only thing that one of the things that I kept hearing as I sat there is, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. For thou art with me. Last month I would have celebrated my daughter's 36th birthday. She's with the Father. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. How many of you believe that the Lord Jesus Christ is in this house? I've got to step away from this. I know you're on camera, but I need to step away. Okay, so I said, how many believe that the Lord Jesus Christ is in this house? Is in this place, and there are some things that we can begin to understand that are very simple and very precious to the Lord Jesus Christ, and that is to love our neighbors as ourselves. See, we don't get a lot of clapping on that. Now look, my brother said to let go, so if you don't mind for just a moment, I'm going to allow the Holy Spirit to allow me to let go. All right. Because I'm tired of burying children. I've buried over 47, or been part of burying over 47 in this community. For 25 years, I've been on these streets working with kids and gangs and drugs, and I'm tired of burying the children. I'm tired of seeing what we're hearing today. We should not be hearing this today. We should not be seeing this today. What we should be seeing is all of us coming together in order to make a greater community for us, we begin looking for solutions. So we have a drug addict over here, so we're going to put him into a recovery. We have an alcoholic over here, we're going to put him into recovery. We have a gang member over here, boy, we're going to have to take him out of their gangs. Let me tell you something, two of our largest gangs are what? Mostly we'll say Crips and Bloods. Well, you got the right colors, it's red and blue. But I don't say it's Crips and Bloods, I say it's Democrats and Republicans. Now on your little thing there it says, talk about peace. How can I expect my children to have peace when we as adults can't have peace? I know maybe some of you weren't expecting this long-haired hippie to get up and begin something. But I've been at this a long time. I'm probably one of the elders as far as in this community dealing with a lot of stuff that's going on. My first young man that was killed, his name was Aaron Floyd in John Barrett Road. A long time ago. The Floyd family is very precious to me. He was the blood. And I'll never forget my little brother Aaron. He came up to me one day. He said, Brother Robert, I put it on my colors and I'm coming to your meeting over there in John Barrett. And I got a phone call. Now his brother Danny is doing well. I praise God for that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But you see, one of the things that we don't do enough, we keep looking for all these solutions that I spoke of. We keep looking for all these things, but the solution is Jesus Christ. See, that's easy. That's easy for somebody like a preacher like me to say that, but we have to put action behind that. If I'm going to tell you I love you, then I need to show you that I love you. And we don't give up. See, some of the time, what happens is that we have programs in our community, and all of a sudden, if we don't have our money,
you better watch yourself. You better watch yourself.
oh, but wait a minute, but God called me to do that.
You better watch yourself.
Well, if God called you to do that, then you don't need the money.
Watch yourself. You better watch yourself.
We got to go do our little yard sales and all that kind of stuff to start raising funds in order to try to help children. Well, I'm sorry, I have a wallet in my back pocket. I might have $2 or $3, so maybe I can give $1.50 if that's $3 to help our children. You know, the thing is that we look in all the wrong places for help. We look to the government to help us. We look for, I'm telling you, we look into all the wrong places. What we need to be looking is looking at ourselves in the mirror and begin doing what we need to do. But these young men up here, come here. Yeah, come here. But I don't want to get down that crazy man. You know what one of the greatest things that we have for this young person right here? This. One of the greatest resources that we have is us. What's your name? Andrew Buchanan, Robert Holt. It's nice to meet you, sir. Go right up there. All right. Now, listen. If we really want peace, if we really want peace in our community, it's not about Benny Johnson and stop the violence. It's about the Jesus Christ that's in Benny Johnson. It's not about titles. When my brother Willie, he said, Robert, what do you want me to put on your program? I said, what are you talking about? I'm your friend. You'll notice on there it says, great friend. See, because Willie and I met each other in John Barrett when he was a bicycle cop. And I was working in John Barrett in those parks at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, which he thought I was crazy. But he and I have been friends all along. But if we're going to have real peace, then that which I asked earlier, is God really in this house? Then we have to live like God is in the house. And I'm talking in the house. Love those that despitefully use you. Right. Love your enemies. Love does no harm to its neighbor, therefore love is the fulfillment of the law. Now watch this. Who is love? God is love. And every one of us in here said God is in the house. Therefore, if he's in the house, that means love is in the house no matter what. But the problem is that we who believe that, I mean strongly believe that, are not passing it on. We're not teaching them how to love those that despitefully use them. How many of us in here, the greatest love is what? That a man lay down his life for a friend. Let me tell you, we've heard. I'm so tired of the children dying. We've heard some horrific stories in this place. For me, one of the most difficult ones besides my daughter, a 3-year-old child.
Yeah.
Her sister was involved in a drug deal with a man. They came by and they shot the house up. They didn't get the daughter, they got the 3-year-old daughter. I remember I got a phone call from Children's Hospital because back in the day I used to deal with retaliation. I'm getting a little old on that. I have other people that deal with that. When I went to the hospital, I walked into the room and there was the mom and the father. Now, it was unusual for fathers. Now, fathers in here, forgive me. If you're a father, be a father, please. And if somebody needs a father, be a father to them. We've already heard this today. Now, watch this. I walked up to the bed and I placed that young lady's hand in my hand and I began to pray. And it turned warm to cold and she passed away right there. Now, let me tell you something good that came out of that. 3 years later, the mom asked me, she said, Mr. Love, she called me Mr. Love because let our violence in, L-O-V-E. She said, Mr. Love, she said, I want you to come with me to the graveside and pray. And I did. I went with my sister, and there's a cemetery that goes out towards Pine Bluff on the right, kind of around Dixon Road in that area, and that's where we were. And after we prayed, she looked up at me, she said, Mr. Love, I want you to know something. I went to face the young man that killed my daughter, and I forgave him. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm known as the love man. And I'll be real with you. I don't know. But to me, that taught me a whole lot. That taught me a lot about peace. That taught me a lot about God's love. And that taught me a lot about God's forgiveness. And let me say this, that one of the root causes of why there's so much pain and so forth in our community is because we haven't released the hate and we haven't forgiven.
Right.
And until we release the hate and until we forgive, there's going to be this root that just continues on all around this community. And we all have got to come together to bring peace. But more importantly, to share the light of God's love. Now, if you will allow me, how great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. Again, and how great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. Listen, God bless you. I know that my brother there earlier, he said this, because the world requires sometimes of us to say this. He said, I want you to meet my white brother over here. I pray that that he has to do those things sometimes. We feel we have to do that. But I'm praying before God brings me home that we no longer have to say that in a prayer. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, families. I can't put myself in your shoes. But I know this, that this brother can continue to pray for each other. God bless you, and sis, you keep that one race going. As it is, all of us together in that race. God bless.
Give it unto God who's the head of my life. My name is Miss Mary. I live in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm born and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm the lady that rides in the funeral cars and the hearse with the babies, asking you to put those guns down. We're gonna ride this Wednesday in Little Rock, Arkansas. I got a phone call. They said, Miss Mary, we see you in Memphis, you're doing this and you're doing that for all those people in Memphis. But what about your home city? Yeah. What about your home? How can you fix somebody else's problem out there and your own family got problems? So I got to thinking and I got to praying to God, and I seen the news. I've been here since Sunday. I seen the news. I watched the news. You think y'all got a lot of killing here? This is nothing. Put my shoes on. I have 13, 14 killings a day. I go to the Labana every day. And I'm not going to the St. Jude with the sickly babies. I'm going with the babies that are hurt. Yeah. Parents, I know it's hard because we only make $8, $9 an hour. See, this is the real reality of life. Why are we killing? That's the question. First of all, we have no money. We're broke. Your child is jumping off the porch. What is he jumping for? Because mom can't make ends meet. You see what I'm saying? You take a $300 check and the rent is $500. She needs 2 checks to make 1 rent. The children walking around with the shoes on like he was saying. Don't buy Jordans. Just stop it. Michael's incarcerating people. Michael's not educating us. Why are we putting our kids in a shoe that man is building a building to destroy us? Come on, y'all. We wearing these Jordans. Stop playing. Michael don't have 1, 2 penitentiaries, people. Michael has several penitentiaries with your money. You're paying $200 for a pair of shoes? That's $200 toward the light bill. You're paying $200 for this and that? Come on. Where we at on our porches in the morning? How many granddaddies are out on the porch when they walking? How many fathers are standing out there? Mamas, where are we? We're in the house. Get out the house. Preachers, get out the pulpit. It's gonna take a unit. The police can't do everything. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna sit here? Or are we gonna put people in office that's not gonna help us? They're not gonna help us until we help ourselves. We don't even love each other. The love that Little Rock, Arkansas, we too little to have this much hate. I've never seen it. I've been home to Memphis. I came back personally for this here. I've been to Memphis. I've been back because I didn't want to miss this today. It should be packed from wall to wall. We shouldn't even have any seating room. But you know where we at? We're at home doing something that the neighbor don't even care nothing about because that's who you're talking to. If we don't join together in this room right now, you think we lost? He ain't knocked at your door yet? He will. And if you ain't no true believer in God, he will take, steal, and destroy your house. So when you leave here today, young men, I done been in trouble. Yeah, see, I ain't ashamed to him. I told my kids a long time ago what happened to me. Because I don't want my kids to wear them shoes. And I don't want my son to have a number. Because I have one. 4112. You see what I'm saying? Don't get a number, because once you get in the system, it's nothing you can do. That system will destroy you unless you're a fighter. See, I fought to get my name back. See, the devil is a liar. You young men are somebody and start standing, because we need kings. You are the king. You the leader. We're just the follower. The kings is a man. Come through men. That's why God said he made you first. We only the ones that can protect you. So you guys got to stand up at school. When you see stuff, call him. Sometimes I know you're scared, but when you believe in God, don't be scared. Don't be scared. He got your back. I promise to God, he got your back. At Henderson High School, J.A. Fair, McClellan, Cloverdale, God is everywhere. So remember the words that I said when I ride this Wednesday. I would line up at the Centennial Park, and Premier would take that first ride. You want to know where I'm riding? I'm riding there where I lost a baby. Because I got to get out and we got to heal that city. We got to heal that community. So once we get out those cars, we join hands. We lock in. And you know what we do? We're trying to keep the devil away from us. The devil's so busy to destroy us, and we do not know. My name is Miss Mary, and I am the Ride of Tears. Every time you see a funeral car, we crying. When are we going to stop crying, parents? When are we going to stand up for our kids and let them know that we're here to protect you? And just tell me what you need. Don't be scared to tell your mom and dad. Please don't. My kids told me everything, and guess what? I was able to keep them out of jail. Yeah. Right now I got a son, just got a charge and everything. But the God that I serve, when I was on my way home in the thunderstorm and the sun hit, God said, baby, you ain't got to go all the way home. I already done took care of that. See, when you put this shirt on, you don't got to worry no more. Wear your shirt every day that you wear. I wear Ride of Tears every day, because they're killing my babies every day. Wear your shirt. And don't just wear it with pride. Get you some more. Tell people to get them. If you want to be a part of a one race, a Ride of Tears to stop the crime, stop the killing, we got to wear these shirts to the store, to the church, everywhere. But I just want to tell Mr. Davis, them and the family, thank you. Because I saw them at a restaurant, and somebody said they was running for sheriff. And I was looking for him because I wanted to know what he was going to do for us. And Mr. Davis said, you just missed him. He just went out the door. I thought it was him. I missed him. How am I going to get on this show y'all have? Because I got some stuff I got to say. Because I got to say it to my people. You're my people. You're my family. I'm born and raised here. Little Rock, Arkansas. It's time for us to stand up. Stop sitting down, kings. That PlayStation, throw it in the garbage. Get out here and save these kids' lives. I love y'all, and I hope to see you ride with me. It's this Wednesday. I'll be lining up at 3 o'clock. We take off at 4 o'clock. We take off at 4 o'clock. We line up at 3. And we line up for a reason. Because it's just like a funeral. Until you stop putting them babies in them caskets, I ride every week. I ride every day. We got 1,000 funeral homes, baby. They rich. They can tote us everywhere we want to go. We done paid enough money to ride for free. You hear me? Come on, clap your hand. 10, 12, 13 funerals a day. We can ride in your car anytime we want to for free. So just look around. If you love each other, let me see you on that ride. Bring your kids. Let your kids know that ride right there is guaranteed for everybody. So while they killing, believe me, God is in control. Y'all have a blessed day, and thank you.
I'll give it up one time. Yes, good job. Oh. Benny, my cousin Benny gonna bless our hearts with song. You hear?
I'd like to applaud Sergeant Davis and the OK program and the GYM program and all the mentors. I'm Benny Johnson. I'm founder and president of the Arkansas Stop the Violence Movement. I started this movement because I'm sick and tired of seeing blacks being shut down like wild games and animals, like Sergeant Davis said. And we'll get mad when a white police officer shoots us, march all down the street, but we shoot each other, won't say a word. I got a problem with that. Serious problem with that. I got a serious problem with a black police chief of this city that's always down at our black men. I got a problem with that. And I got a problem when they pick on Sergeant Really Davis, suspend him for 10 days, who's helping these black young men. The city should have been in an uproar right then. So we got to do better. How many know we saved because of God's amazing grace? Will y'all help me sing a little bit of? Thank you, Brother Spencer. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Was lost, but now I found was mine, but now I see. Through many days, just told as that I have already my breath I need thee, oh, I need thee every hour. I need thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to thee. Let the church say yeah, 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 sunlit morning when this life is over, I'll fly away in the morning to that land where joy will never end. I'll fly away. Oh, I'll fly away. Oh, glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I'll die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land.
Can I get it for Big Ben Johnson one more time? So George, April, Tammy, I need to talk for a second. George, Tammy, April, I'm sorry, Amber, Kim gone? Kim, come on. Ooh, I want to, come on, guys. Y'all can face the audience. I'm not going to do nothing to y'all behind your back. I want to present you all with a token of our appreciation and the symbol of what I like to know is peace. Just presenting y'all with y'all go stand in front of them. It's just four. It's four. Yeah. This is just a symbol of a peace and our appreciation for y'all, and we used to do this and we get a hug. So y'all go ahead and do what y'all gotta do. Yeah, y'all do that for me. Yeah, I just want to say we really appreciate you all for taking our time out to come and relive this. This is important to us. So I ask you all to continue to keep these families in your prayers. God is still good. I gotta go ahead and put that out there. He is. And so I really want to let y'all know we will continue to be praying for God's presence and peace in y'all's life, and hope that y'all can understand that God is God, and He can fix anything. Times like this is when He shows up and does His best work. And so I want y'all to believe that, to claim that, and understand that we still in constant prayer for all of you all. God bless you. Thank you. I also want to say that I don't want you all to leave without getting your bellies full, because we have plenty of food back there, and I want to know the families go first, the ladies go first, the men go last. So I want to be real clear about that. But do not leave here without getting you a plate or some food. There's plenty. It's plenty. It's like I'm forgetting something. I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting something. I don't want to miss. Oh yeah, I want to be real. Yeah, and I'm not. Yeah, I'm not running for sheriff either. I want to be real clear about that. That's my good friend Eric Higgins, and she was he had left the restaurant. And she thought I was Eric Higgins, but I'm not. But he is running for sheriff, and so I would appreciate if y'all would consider him, look him up, read about him, make your own decision. But he's my man. I'm supporting for sheriff also. Russ, you running for a city board? Which one? What ward? Ward 6. Stand up. It's that bald white guy right there. Y'all get a good look at him. Yes, sir. Appreciate your work too, Russ. What you're doing here in the city, man. We really appreciate that. Joe, appreciate your brother for always showing up and doing your best work for us, man. Calvin, I don't know if you're here, and I recognize y'all. Appreciate you, man. That's one of our retired police officers back there that's doing this. The big muscle build guy right there. Yeah, them muscles. My family, I appreciate all of y'all, the families that showed up and support. I have also, where my cards go? See me if you want to get some cards. Alicia left me some cards for you guys, in insurance and things like that. So I have some. So yeah. And so the gyms, mentors. I didn't get them to stand up. I'm sorry. The female mentors stand up. I'm so sorry. They're gonna get me. Stand up. Yeah. Cynthia, why you not standing? Stand on up there. You ain't got no shirt. Where's your shirt? I'm gonna get you. Okay. And the rest of the mentors will be, the gym's mentors will be serving y'all back there, by the way. And I want to get up for the musician here. Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Do I see Officer Turner? What? Officer Turner's mom, stand up. No, you. And Officer Turner's mom I see right there. Stand on up. Stand on up. Hey, that's his sister too. Hey, how y'all doing? You drove out from Stevens? Thank you. Glad to have you. I think that's it. You close out in prayer, Benny? You close out in prayer. I hope I'm not forgetting anything, anybody. Man. To parents that are here, appreciate y'all.
Let us pray. Dear gracious and holy Father, we thank you for the eyes that seen. We thank you for what our ears have heard. We thank you for Sergeant Davis and the OK program. We pray you continue to bless them to mentor these young men and make them grown and productive men in our community. We thank you for the Pilgrim Valley Missionary Baptist Church, Pastor Green, for opening his doors. We thank you for these families. We pray, Lord Jesus, you bless them. We pray you let them know that earth has no sorrow, that heaven cannot heal, that weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. Please let them know that if you lift up thine eyes unto the hills from which cometh their help, all their help cometh from you, which made heaven and earth. Now as we depart from this place, now from your presence, may the peace of God, sweet communion of your Holy Spirit, rest, rule, and abide with us, now, henceforth, and forevermore. And everyone said, amen.